Alright, so like growing up, like figuring yourself out, like you were saying, what do you see as like a little decision or a big decision that turned out really good, like the best decision you made?
Well, I think who you marry is a big decision.
Yeah.
Well, I mean not necessarily marry, but who you choose to
Surround yourself with.
and well, I mean the most important one would be who you choose to um, make your life with major decisions. Um, that person is going to have the most amount of influence on you beyond anybody else that you know. Um, and similarities and interests and influence is going to impact your life. And that has been a good decision for me and has worked in my favor. And I'm happy about that one.
So you happy with how you happy that you married mom?
Yeah, I am.
You think you could tell me like a funny story about you and mom? Like I don't know anything.
That's a funny story, a random story. Okay.
Yeah.
So one time we used to have a habit, all our friends, and like when we were mom and I were dating, in our 20s, mid 20s, and our friends and cousins in a group. Every time we lined somewhere, we would always go back to Hilton Hotel. At Hilton Hotel, on every floor you get off the elevator, there's a little couch area with a table and whatnot. So we would always retreat there and sit there, lime a little bit, spend a little time before we go home. Maybe somebody might need to sober up a bit, somebody might have a coffee. Anyway, there were one particular night we were there, and that night they had a concert in Trinidad of John Legend and Rihanna. And so we were there, and we knew that they were staying in Hilton. We knew that they would be around because we could see security and people and whatnot. And all of a sudden the elevator opened in front of us, and a guy came out, and we could tell that he was maybe part of the team or something. So we asked him, hey, do you know if Rihanna is in the hotel? Do you know if she's here? And he kind of looked at us, kind of funny, and said, no, I don't, and walked off. And we were kind of okay. And then within a few seconds, we all looked at each other and realized, that's John Legend. So we just didn't recognize him, and we asked him if Rihanna is staying in the hotel.
Damn.
And that's a funny story. Yeah. I'm sure he's a customer, people recognizing him.
Yeah. So that's like kind of like a funny anecdote.
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 Anecdote, say it.
Wait, how you say it? Anecdote. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So like all those stories you told me, what do you think is one story that you think that that you'd want me to know, you want me and your family to know, and hopefully you want me to pass on to my family, and like just like a story that stuck with you, or something that like gave you motivation. You know what I'm saying? Just gonna pause the question until you figure out an answer. What?
I thought we were moving on to the next question until we come back to it.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to, let's see.
You'll use announce. Okay, I thought you would
Yeah.
edit it out now. Yeah.
Nah. What's one thing that I don't know about you?
Wow, that's such an interesting question. What is one thing that you don't know about me?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's nothing that falls within the ambit, that falls within the range of I can see, and but you don't know. I think I'm a pretty open book to my kids and family, so I don't know if there's anything that I can say you don't know about me.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to die tomorrow, how do you want people to remember you? Like, if there was a certain moment in any time in your life that you could have people remember you by that moment. Like, let's say you helped out someone or you gave someone something that they needed, and that like reflected you.
I don't know if there is a particular moment or single story that I could recall, but if I were to tell you what I will remember that, and this is a really interesting thing. There's a book I read about write your own eulogy. Write your own eulogy when you're young, so you'll have a guide, a map as to how to live your life according to how you want to be remembered,
Yeah.
and not live it by chance. So if I were to do that, I would want to be remembered as somebody who was kind and helpful wherever the opportunity exists, and also love life, live life, try not to say no to much things, no to much experiences, and I'd like to be, so I can't think of, I can't relate it to an exact incident or memory event, but if I were to think about how I would want to live my life so that it will be remembered in a particular way, I would like it to be said that I was honest, I lived a life of the highest integrity, that I was kind and helpful wherever the opportunity. I was kind to everyone that I met, that I come in contact with, and helpful wherever the opportunity presented itself.
Yeah.
And that in matters of dealings of life, or family, or business, or whatnot, that when it came to being serious about something, that I was the most serious, the most passionate, the most focused, the most results oriented about anything that I undertake. But if it was time to party and have fun and clown around, I would be the biggest clown, I would have the most fun. And both can coexist in life. And that sums it up, I would say.
Okay. So if you were to, if someone asked you, what's like one thing that isn't like normalized or like expected in society that you think is like completely stupid?
Now,
It's like anytime. It could be like when you're younger, when it could be anything. Anything.
you're talking time specific about like when I was younger, or you're speaking about now?
It could be anything you think of that.
What's normalized in society?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say what I think is most absurd about the very fabric of society is that capitalism seems to be the most important thing. It seems to be the order of the day and dictate every other aspect of our life. So meaning that when I look around, I see human beings basing their entire life on their career or their worth in terms of their wealth and their riches and how they exist within that system.
Yeah.
Putting way more attention and effort towards preparing careers when you're children, towards making money when you're an adult. I think it takes up too much of our capacity, and I think it should be a function of life. It should be a function of society that we know how to make a living. But it should not be so closely linked to our identity.
Yeah.
And that I think to be the most absurd thing in the way we organize ourselves as people.
Yeah. So if someone were to ask you what's like your story, what would you say? Like what are some things you have to overcome to be who you are now? Or some decisions you had to make, or some people you had to, get like remove them from your life in order to be the person you are right now?
So I would say that I was born into a business family, a traditional Indian family from Shogunas. That came with it a lot of family traditions, cultural traditions, community traditions, expectations. Expectations is a big word. And conditioning in how to live life, how to value things, how to approach our very last conversation about careers, business. Our value system was a deep conditioning as a child into a particular way. And in growing, I am happy that I was able to not just take that for what it is and not question it. I was able to learn, always be a learner. That's a lesson for life. Always be a learner. Always be willing to learn something new, entertain a new thought. I was able to entertain new thoughts, read and contemplate new concepts, think about what might not have been working from my inherited values and traditions, and make the necessary changes for the better, for myself, and in a way that I can impact my community better and raise my children differently. Not saying that how I was raised was bad, but break some expectations and traditions and really bring some philosophy into life, right some wrongs. I think that has really been huge for me. Not just to get on the treadmill of life or the hamster wheel and run with it, but really come from it, but reinvent the wheel, make my own wheel.
Yeah.
Maybe my own wheel moves a little bit slower. Maybe it's a little bit wobbly than the average person. But it's my own, and it's where I found happiness, and it's where I think I can make the biggest impact through my kids and my business, my employees, people I interact with. I'm a much different person now than I was in my early adulthood.
Okay. If you were to go back to your younger self, let's say when you're 10 years old, and tell him something, what do you tell him? Could be anything. Just say how you're happy right now, or keep doing what he's doing, or
I'd say I'm from the future and I have a bunch of advice for you, and I could tell you a bunch of things to do and not do, but don't listen to me, because life is about doing those things. It's about taking those turns, making those mistakes. Nobody should try to avoid you from that. You should stay clear of danger, of unreasonableness. We should stay clear of certain things. But other than that, I think it's absolutely necessary that you live your life just as it on. I wouldn't change anything about myself. I don't know how it would impact me now. Who I am now, I think, is a result of all the good things that have happened to me, but equally, credit is due to all the bad things that would have happened to me.
yeah. So, as you said, like kind of figuring out things yourself instead of having every decision handed to you.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say was like some big decisions, some people you had to cut ties with to be the person you are right now with your values and just like to just be you?
I don't feel like I had to cut ties with anybody, but I had to cut ties, like no person in particular, no family member, but I had to cut ties with beliefs that I grew up with. I grew up in a very religious, Hindu religious home, and when I came to be an adult, um, I did not identify with any of that. I did not identify with religion, far more Hinduism, and I didn't, I distanced myself. I became a non-practitioner. I started to read more philosophy, and I think my family had a hard time accepting that. They being very, very religious, very traditional. In terms of the way I live my life, I'm not a capitalist. I'm not an industrialist. I'm not at work from morning to night as other members of my family and my community is trying to make as much money as possible, try to acquire wealth. I have found a lot more balance where I do work every day, but I also now appreciate the time that I put behind my health, time with my family, your kids, mom, my other family, my parents. I have so much other responsibilities that I found happiness in a better balance.
Yeah.
So I have had to break with conditioning and break with beliefs and expectations to really discover. Mom is in the background trying to say it because of her. I already gave you credit earlier in the video. Yes. Anyway, I've had to break with those type of things, not with people per se.
Yeah.
Yes.
So knowing the person you are right now, what are some things that you'd want me to be when I grow up?
What I want you to be now. First of all, the question is about what I want you to do in terms of studies and stuff now.
Tell like a person.
I want you to be honest and live with integrity. That's very important. Trust. Be someone that can be trusted. I would like you to be an explorer and a learner. Explore the world. Go see it. Go meet people. Understand things. Understand cultures, tradition. Explore different things. Find things that you're passionate about. It can be many things, it could be one thing. Whatever in this world that you become passionate about, build a life around that.
Yeah.
Not around capitalism. I feel like I talk about this a lot and I might come across as an anti-capitalist to your project. But what I mean, I feel that there's too much focus on that. Build a life around your passion. Pursue that. Put your time into that. And then, while holding all those things to be true, find a way to live in the capitalist world. You have to live in money. You have to be able to afford things. But find a way to do it as a function of your life. And yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of based on what everything you just said, like past 5 minutes. But coming back to the question, what is a story you like to be passed down? Does it have to be like a
Okay. I guess if I were to leave you with a parting word, I could give you an oversimplified version of a conversation that started between two friends that said, one asked the other, what is more important, the journey or the destination? And it's a thing that we often ask in life, what is more important, what we accomplish after working very hard and putting in our life of purpose, or is the journey and is doing all of these things while you're doing it more important? And the friend responded, well, neither. It's the people you meet along the way.
Yeah.
And that is easily proven. It's really the people that you meet along the way that bring you love, satisfaction, fulfillment, happiness, laughter. The moments that you enjoy, the things that you look forward to is when you get together with people. Don't lose sight of that. Don't think that things make you happy. Or anything. The journey is important and you should enjoy the journey. The destination is important because it's the reward at the end of it. But nothing is worth it if you don't have good people around you. So appreciate your friends, build good friends, appreciate your family, and that would be my parting words.
Alright, cool.
Live mindfully. Mom is not murmuring something. Now nobody gonna watch this video, right?